Metron. Is that what you said? Metron?
Megatron.
I
quit the show. Captain's Pod, Stardate 2005-95.1. Welcome aboard the Starship Derperprise, and thank you for joining us on our continuing voyages through the final frontier. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington, and with me, as always, all she wants is to dance with Spock in Cetacean Ops.
Oh.
It's Ambassador Deneé. I was really kind this week. I had some mean ones.
Yeah, you've been a bit rude.
Yeah, but
I feel like, is there something going on between us that we need to talk about?
No, I just think it's funnier. I think the mean ones are funnier.
Because you shouldn't be jealous of Spock.
But I'm not. Have I ever shown a second of jealousy? Yeah. I am endorsing that. If you came home... right?
No, here we go.
Brace
yourself, podcast audience.
If you came home, Ethan Peck in arm, happy, do it. You and Ethan Peck necking. It's bring him on. Bring him home. I will not shed a tear or bat an eyelash at that. I will make you post-coital suffer.
Oh my God.
Oh, would you prefer it before? Apologies to anybody who's not interested in listening about those details.
Hello, podcast listeners. We are venturing forth into the deep unknowns of our podcast.
Hide your children.
I think maybe everybody is really clear now why we had to leave CinemaSins podcast network.
HR was just writing blank checks at this point.
This is our second episode off of network, and we're just like immediately. Well, I want to thank you for giving me the freedom to kidnap Ethan Peck.
Nope, didn't say that.
And
my attorney has
drag him into the house.
No.
He wakes up and he's just in Spock gear and he goes, not again.
You're expecting him to react as Spock and not Ethan Peck as well? That's what you're...
Oh, he's incapacitated at this point.
Right. We need to stop before we get sued. This week's episode Ambassador is called Terrarium. Any predictions?
Oh, I want a plant.
That's not what a terrarium is.
Oh, shit.
Terrarium is for reptiles.
Oh.
Like a glass habitat thing.
I thought it was like it could be a plant thing.
I don't think it's specifically for plants. I think plants can be in terrariums, but I think they're meant for living creatures.
All right. AI overview. The purpose of a terrarium is to serve as a miniature self-sustaining ecosystem in a glass container for decorative, educational, and low-maintenance plant cultivation.
Fuck. You're right. I guess statistically it had to happen once.
Wow. You know how you said that the intro was nicer?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is the snark we love.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So I'm immediately like, ooh, I want to some maybe there's like a collection. Is it like a miniature? Is this gonna be like a miniaturizing episode where everybody gets shrunk down? And that'd be fun, like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Star Trek. I'd love to see that. Oh, maybe Q is collecting people.
That would be in character.
It'd be pretty fun if a being was collecting people.
Are they miniature on the Enterprise? Is it the entire crew? Is it just select members?
Well, considering it says terrarium and that involves plants, in my reality, I understand that's not your reality, but in my reality, there's plants involved in terrariums.
Yeah,
I would think that they would either be terraforming the ship, like maybe the ship becomes a plant world, or they're extracted from the ship and put into something small.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Oh, well, was there an episode of Lower Decks where they went to like a zoo?
The farm, yeah.
Let's see a zoo episode, but with Strange New Worlds. Nice. That'd be fun. Or like the Collector from the MCU universe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Benicio del Toro turns out, that'd be amazing. My prediction is, well, because I assumed Terrarium was specifically for reptiles, I was thinking we're going to have another Gorn episode. But this is the final Gorn episode that gives us the closure of why doesn't this add up? And this is some final Gorn interaction that transitions us to the Gorn that we know, because we still haven't addressed why the Gorn look so different. And I feel like
they can't help themselves.
They can't help themselves. Yeah. I think they're going to give us a more satisfying answer to why is this so different. I hope not, because we're done with the Gorn. Enough. We're done. Other than Ortegas, like
Ortegas is having
trauma with the reflection.
She's having the PTSD,
which has not been mentioned since. But yeah, I'm thinking some sort of Gorn, but I do think it's going to be a top-down episode where they're looking in. So I wonder if the crew of the Enterprise are looking down on a terrarium of Gorn, and it's like a subspecies. Then they're interacting differently, and they've got to decide, well, do we kill these Gorn, or do we try and communicate with them? Because they haven't gone to sleep. They haven't hibernated.
I don't know. I thought we had kind of addressed a lot of it. And for me, aside from Ortegas, the only lingering is Batel, who...
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I think is the mother of the Gorn, as we know them in the future.
Of the Arena Gorn, the one from
somehow.
TOS.
Either the Gorn that was inside her had its DNA genetically modified accidentally. So, but I mean, I think everybody, as we know, I speak for the entire Star Trek community
I think
now.
So. Yeah.
That was a joke.
Don't email us.
Please don't think I would ever speak for you. I think that we are ready to be done with the Gorn, but it can't be. You're right. There's still lingering. Because you said that there's the lingering. And is it just the last question is how what we saw evolves into what?
So different.
Okay.
So different.
Is that the lingering thing you're working on? That's the big lingering
thing for me. And it's not just Klingons look different. They've upgraded some stuff. This is a huge diversion from the Gorn that Kirk fought. So much.
In my opinion, there's two questions. One is the visual, which I can kind of get over because we're talking about just the stretch of the imagination.
I guess.
For me, it is why hasn't this dominant species reappeared in any of in any of the following years? Because that's such a big bad. And now they've introduced that Batel can spidey sense with the other ancient baddies as well, who is still floating around also.
Still floating around, yeah.
So we have two...
No, well, in the transporter buffer.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, let's head over to the holodeck to watch the episode. We'll meet you all in 10 forward for a full debrief. Will Commodore Dicer be with us?
Who knows?
I do know he can't say terrarium, so this will be fun. 2 to beam out. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched. Most important thing first, he'd never reject a sorbet from Pike. It's Commodore Dicer.
Oh, hello.
He's back. Burning question that I left.
Oh, yeah.
I made a big presumption last week. You texted me what you enjoyed last week's episode, but you think it had the worst scene in the history of the show. Can you remember what that scene was? Because I guessed.
Oh, yeah.
I guessed and I could not. I don't know if I got it right.
I also guessed, but I don't know if I got it right.
I would like to know your guesses before I tell you.
My guess was the walk through the hallway scene with the rock music and they're all swinging their weapons around, their lurpers.
Okay, that was pretty terrible. Deneé, what about you?
I don't remember, but I did guess. Oh, there was a Doug guess, so I'll
the post-credit scene?
I'll vocalize the post-credit scene for the chat.
Also terrible. You guys picked 2 great guesses because both of those moments were terrible. However, I think it'll be a huge surprise, and I think I'm probably in the vast minority when I say this. I thought the Spock-La'an dance was so bad.
What is wrong with you?
Stop it.
So
what do you
over
mean?
The top. It was cloying and it just did not work. It was cringe. I was just like, can we get through this? Like him bringing her back that way was so a writer going, oh, I did it this time. Oh, this is going to be the thing. And it's just bad. And they're not good in it. I don't think they have any chemistry. And I think that's part of the problem as well for me. But yeah, I was cringe through that whole thing.
I guarantee you're representing more people than you think. As Deneé and I cannot, I don't know. Deneé and I cannot see past our love of Spock under any circumstances. And also I had the wave literally of cetacean ops carrying me through. They could have done anything in that scene and I was like, cetacean ops, let's go.
Nice. Yeah, but overall I really liked the everyone becomes a Vulcan conceit. Like I thought that was that was really fun. And
I did too.
I thought Pike was so good. Like I continue to think he's the best guy on the show. Like that's
interesting.
He was so good as a Vulcan.
I think we actually ranked the performances, and Ian and I ranked him as the worst performing Vulcan.
Yeah.
So it would have been a really interesting conversation that we never had.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Ambassador, what would you like from the replicator before we get going?
In honor of today's episode, I would like some orange juice.
Oh!
So
I also want orange juice now.
You both want. Well, it's good because I asked you, Deneé, and the Commodore answered.
Yes. Well, Commodore is going to get orange, and I'd like pit monster sushi with gorn juice.
A pit monster sushi.
We're just going to have everything wrong happening.
Gorn juice.
Sorry, gorn.
Just such a hard word to say. I want 2 in the chest and 1 in the head from La'an, please.
Oh shit.
Wow.
That's not
that got dirty real
fast. Something that the replicator can do. You continue to just take massive liberties with this section.
Yeah, I want that as a diorama. My 3D printer has spoiled me because now I just want to have dioramas printed of, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Ambassador, give us a synopsis.
Ortegas is stuck on a desolate moon planet. Is a moon a planet?
That's no moon.
Discuss. It's not a moon?
Sorry, that's no moon is a Star Wars quote that I was.
Oh my god!
No. This is my job. I have to cut him off before he makes the Star Wars quote.
I wasn't gonna say that. I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah, he would never do that.
Asteroid orbiting thing. It was a moon of some sort orbiting a gas giant.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite parts of the episode is the idea of orbiting moon that goes within the atmosphere of the planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a really interesting idea, and that for a portion of time the moon is enveloped by the planet's atmosphere.
Yeah. There was an interesting ticking time on this episode, and so when Ortegas crash lands, she finds herself stuck in like survival mode and realizes that there is another being there, which is a Gorn. And through some engineering brilliance on her part, she has not only created water out of nothing, she also has created a universal translator and is able to learn to communicate in simple ways. And by the end of the episode, they work together with a plan to essentially send up a flare so that maybe they will be seen by potentially something that could be there, and it works.
Great synopsis. I am bursting to talk about this episode, and it's going to be so hard to not skip to the very end where my what the fuck-a-meter kind of breaks for a little bit. Overall thoughts and feelings before we dive into the episode itself. Commodore.
This is okay. This episode's okay. It does some things that I like, but it does them in ways maybe I don't like. I don't know. It doesn't help that Ortegas is not my favorite character on the show. So
I mean that'll do it.
So spending the whole time with her was not on my to-do list today. But I do like some of the things it's trying to do. Although I'm with you, I want to skip to the end and talk about how beautiful and nonsensical that ending is. As a fan of the original series, and
there we go.
the episode in question.
Heavy caveat there.
So yeah, I think there's a little bit to like here, but mostly I remain unimpressed with this show as it continues.
Ambassador Deneé, middle name Hughes. How did it hit you?
I am still not sure if I liked it or loved it or hated it. I'm not sure. I'm feeling a lot of mixed emotions, and I'm still kind of in it. We watched it, and then I was like, I don't know how I feel right now. So I'm really excited to have this conversation, because I think sometimes when you talk about it with friends, especially like right after it happens, you learn more about how you feel. So I'll tell you at the end when we get to the pips how I land. But I'm really processing a lot. I will say I am kind of in the similar boat as Dicer in that a solo episode about Ortegas wasn't something that I was like excited about. So when I realized that was the heavy lifting of this episode, I kind of found myself trying to check out a little bit. And I don't know why that is, because when I see Ortegas on screen with like the group, I really enjoy the energy. Like she brings a vibrancy. And And I think it's interesting because I'm now realizing that this is sort of her, in a way, getting her vibrancy back through a very interesting healing process and survival process. But the episode does some things that I'm like, it kind of like pokes some holes for me. So we'll see. I don't know. What do you think?
Let's get in. We'll poke those holes and wedge a starship in them as much as possible. Overall, I really enjoyed the episode. The last 5 minutes does not work for me, and this show cannot fucking help itself but not stick landings on certain things when it comes to being a fucking prequel. That last 5 minutes, my eyes rolled super duper hard, and yet I do understand why they did it, so forgiveness will come quickly. But other than that, this isn't a wow episode of Star Trek. This is a consistent episode of Star Trek for me. This is what, for me, makes TNG and TOS really rewatchable, because it isn't super high stakes end of the universe stuff. It's this. I really like the shuttlecraft has crashed. Lost in space stories. Yeah, upcoming season perhaps.
Oh, and twinkly lights. These were the twinkly lights I saw.
Well, we're going to do predictions next.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, overall, I am easy to please when you hit a kind of more standard classic style episode of the show and hit that format and do it well. I really enjoyed it. And from this episode, it really came together that I get this Geordie vibe from Ortegas. And there is an episode where Geordie is stranded on a planet and has to make friends with Romulan. Oh. And this reminded me of that so much. And her energy, like she felt like an engineer in this episode, and she had that like optimistic Geordie energy. And I've been struggling to place where Ortegas sits other than the pilot, because that's all they've given her. So I felt way more connected to her this episode than before. However, the predictions were quite special in terms of your series predictions, not so much the episode itself.
No, I was so wrong about this particular episode. There were no plants.
No, there were no plants.
No plants.
It wasn't a miniaturizing episode where everybody gets really, really small.
I don't know. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
No one shrank, but they were being observed by a great all-being power,
Yes.
So maybe, they're small in the eyes of the gods.
Yes, but they weren't explicitly miniaturized.
No, they were not.
This was not the introduction to the farm from Lower Decks. That didn't happen. The ship did not become a plant or have plants inside of it.
No.
There was no Honey, I Shrunk the Kids connection.
No, I was really
the
off
crew
on
was
that.
not collected by people, but one crew member was kind of collected.
She was
by
definitely
an alien.
collected.
So I'll give you that.
I'll
give you that.
That one's very true. She was collected and observed.
On a prediction, maybe you're going into this. Sorry. I was going to say, on a prediction sense, I mean, this is the episode we've been predicting since season 1. Like, since the Gorn were a part of the show, we all knew this episode was coming where, the Gorn can be friends, because that's what Star Trek does, so we knew this was coming.
In fairness, been asking for as well. This is where the story gets more interesting for me and all of us, I think. Completely. So we kind of knew that was coming. Where it gets fun is your season prediction, Ambassador, where
let's get into it. Let's do it.
One that's a bit of a gimme and one that is oddly specific. For those who do not remember, one of your season-long predictions was a shuttle will explode because of some kind of debris.
Boop, boop.
It was a shuttle down episode. It didn't explode, but it did get taken down by
that
debris.
Counts.
It's fine. There was an explosion at the end, but...
Half a
point for that one. Blue twinkly lights was one of your predictions.
I saw them so clearly in my imagination, and this is why I still believe I got some weird fucking powers, yo. Like, Dicer, you've been with me a long time. How weird does it get sometimes?
It gets weird.
It gets fucking weird.
I'm tempted to drop half a point because you said plural and I only saw one light.
Oh, are you kidding?
Blue twinkly lights. I only saw one on screen at a time.
There were multiple, and they were overlaid whenever the creature was coming in and as they were phasing out of their little beaming situation. Those were twinkly as well.
Yeah.
There are 4 goddamn lights.
It's absolutely fine. I still love it when you reference episodes you haven't watched. It's amazing. It's my favorite thing. It's the best. All right, let's dive into it. I am still torn about whether we jump right to the
let's get
end.
to the end of it.
Let's talk about the end. the end of the episode, Ortegas is getting rescued, and the twinkly light person reveals themselves, the observer that has put them there that Ortegas is screaming to, and reveals themselves to be a Metron, or Metrone, if you are of the Kirk pronunciation school of pronouncing things, and gives a speech, a villain speech, if you will, about observing two very, very hostile creatures, how they're going to interact, and they're going to need further research. Perhaps they would have to research this in an arena of some kind in the future, and that they may even have to change humanity's perception of the Gorn. I'm going to throw it straight to Aaron. This seems to be the part of the episode you resonated with the most as the TOS fan. How did you like that connection, retcon, pre-con?
It's a pre-con that makes no sense, though, because unless my memory is faulty, and it might be because, again, I don't remember TOS, but this is a pretty important episode because it's the cable guy episode, right? It's the it's not.
No, it's not. No.
That's a mock time. That's the Kirk versus Spock fight.
This is the Kirk versus the Gorn episode. Yes. Different.
Yeah.
Anyways, so see, faulty memory, just proving it.
It happens.
So, but if I remember correctly, the what is the species called?
The Metrons.
The Metrons, right? If I remember correctly, the Metron basically intercepts them getting ready to battle each other and says, no, you two fight it out. Whoever wins survives. Whoever, dies doesn't, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Kirk spares, Kirk wins, but spares the Gorn's life. And the Metron, is that what you said?
Megatron.
I quit the show.
Then Megatron. Then the Metrons are like, surprising. We didn't expect that. Well, if you've already play tested this
yes.
and they got along, how are you surprised?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And it was it's and the thing that makes it even worse is the La'an shooting the Gorn thing or whatever, which is just
there's the evidence you need.
Yeah, that's all you need is that somebody saw their friend with a species that has been vicious to humans coming towards them and they shot them. It yada yadas all of how that became what we see in the other one. And because of that, just feels like hey, let's put this chess piece here and do something interesting. Let's, again, reference a thing, reference a Megatron since they come in later. So
I was wrong in saying that you liked it then. I thought you called it beautiful.
No. That's not what I found. That's not what I found beautiful. I love the Gorn human stuff. I love the discovery of common ground, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's stuff about that I didn't care for, but I found some of that really meaningful and important. And the other reason the Metron stands out in my mind is because they are a pacifistic society that believes that violence is not the answer, to put it simply. And so I liked that about the TOS one, and then in this one it just kind of undoes it.
Yeah, it feels
by
like
trying to set the stage for it. It's weird.
It feels like the goal was to get to we will have to change your perception of the Gorn. The goal was to get to that line in a way that felt comfortable. Like instead of just creating a species that will change their perception and retcon that. Oh, let's just do the Metrons because we know that they pop up later when the Gorn do arrive and we can just dump it all with them. So it really did not work for me at all. It's the exact opposite logic to why Equality of Mercy did work for me. And Equality of Mercy is the season finale of season 1, which ties into the Balance of Terror, the Romulan episode. That enhances the other.
Yes.
In so many meaningful ways. This, for me, subtracts from the impact of Arena.
Yes.
Because the Metrons have already done it. And it's cheaty because you're a prequel. And what does this add to the Arena?
If you watch them in order now, the TOS one makes no sense. It doesn't work now.
It just feels weird.
So in the TOS one, I just remember the Gorn. Can we just real quickly remind me what the fuck happened? I know that there was some punches being thrown, but I have launched everything else.
I mean, I don't blame you at all.
I'm following what you're saying, and I'm trying to like piece together how this subverts that one.
We watched it a couple of years ago, so I do not blame you for that at all. Super quickly, the Enterprise turns up at a planet that has been absolutely destroyed. It's one of their colonies that's been wrecked by the Gorn because the Gorn think they own it.
Okay.
There's going to be a head-to-head in space. The glowy aliens, the Megatrons, say, no, stop it. We've taken your champion and the Gorn's champion, put them on a planet, fight to the death. So instead of you all causing this war, this is going to be decided based on which one of those two win.
Right.
We then have an episode of battling and bombing and battling and whatnot while they try and get Kirk back. And eventually, at the very, very end, Kirk realizes that the Gorn is intelligent and spares his life.
Okay.
The Megatrons are impressed that Kirk spares his life, spares both of them, and sends them on their way.
Okay, so I think is this episode attempting to sort of say that the human Gorn fight gets a redo because La'an shot the Gorn?
I have no idea.
And that's what kind of like...
I don't know what it's trying to say. I don't think it's trying to say anything other than explain why the Gorn look different.
So like the Metron people saw that it was when the saviors showed up and fucked up the experiment, and so the redo is no one else can come. Like that's what they fix, quote unquote, later on, is that
I guess
they don't allow anyone else to come. Because like in this episode, they've put the Gorn and the human into a situation through this wormhole suddenly appearing. So the idea is that they made a wormhole, sucked her out of nowhere to put her on the planet with the Gorn lady, and they just want to see what happens if two come together, sort of a thing.
Yeah, that's the Terrarium element. So I think in this case, they've deliberately picked two what they have decided are warlike species and then experimented with it. And then they at the end explain, well, we're going to have to do this again at some point in the future because this was inconclusive.
Because of the interference.
But that's not how the TOS episode feels. It doesn't feel for a second like they're coming to redo an experiment.
It doesn't. So it then implies that, okay, well, you've interacted again. I guess this is a good time to follow up on that experiment we did a few years ago with the Enterprise already. Like, it's wild that the Megatrons bump into the Enterprise twice, just like Trelane.
Well, I mean, if they're all powerful beings, they can probably bump into whoever they want, to be fair.
That's not what it feels like in the arena, though. The Megatrons are meant to be omnipotent, all-powerful, basically Q-like beings.
I didn't know that.
Assuming that they are. Like,
or the technology is so advanced it appears like magic, that kind of deal. But it throws into question why they do arena. Is it just because the humans and Gorn have bumped into each other, and so it's like, well, they've bumped into each other, I guess we do part B of the experiment now. But it wasn't deliberate in the arena.
And they don't learn anything new from part B of the experiment in TOS either.
No.
Like it's you know.
And they definitely don't reference, this confirms our earlier findings.
Well, I wouldn't expect that. I just wouldn't expect them to be so surprised. You know, like that's the thing. They're like, oh, we didn't think humans had it in them to be peaceful. And it's like, yeah, because you just, a few years back saw the humans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting. Like, if I would kind of buy it if Ortegas had been militantly against the Gorn the entire episode and didn't get any of like, this Gorn is on my side. And they're like, okay, Ortegas has got baggage. This wasn't a fair experiment. It's a wash. Let's do it again. And then Kirk fixes that by being more balanced. The problem I have with that is I hate that episode so much because what I love about this episode is Ortegas finding common ground with the Gorn. So it's at odds with it. It's really at odds with itself for me. It's such a shame. It is by comparing itself to Arena, it becomes less of an episode rather than if it just stood on its own as let's do some diplomacy with the Gorn.
Yeah. One thing that's come up in the chat from several people is that another fail is that in Arena, the Gorn are like an unknown species, and it's becoming harder and harder to believe that like nobody knows about the Gorn at that time. So when we were talking about the problem that Strange New Worlds has introduced in making the Gorn the big bad, even like when we were doing our predictions for like the episode, part of our, what problems are we still solving with the Gorn? It is sort of how do you link it into Arena, right? And so this is them doing almost like a parallel episode prequel, not even almost. This is a parallel episode prequel and attempting to solve that problem. And I don't know that they did that.
No, but the thing is, they did it in the most lip service, hand wavy, for me, disappointing way when he says, we will have to change your perception of the Gorn. Because that can encompass, that is a writer's parachute. That's why they look different. That's why Kirk doesn't know about them. That's why the Enterprise has no logs. That's why Spock has no idea and doesn't talk about, wow, we had so many encounters with the Gorn. They're going to change humanity's perception, which means we can retcon whatever the fuck we want. That's what I took it as.
So the episode is saying that the fix is that the Metrons are memory wiping humanity of the Gorn.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that at all.
I don't know what else that means. We will have to change your perception of the Gorn.
I thought it was just for Ortegas.
I'm pretty sure he said that her memory is going to be wiped other than the experience. Her memory of the Metrons will be wiped. But he definitely said that your perception of the Gorn, and I've got to rewatch the scene, but I'm pretty sure he is referring to humanity.
Yeah, so I thought it was about humanity as well, but I wasn't putting together that it was an attempt to wipe. So does that mean that then canonically moving forward in Strange New Worlds, no one should remember the Gorn in any episode coming up, and Batel is just magically...
she's talking about the Gorn being her friend.
Maybe it happens later.
I don't understand.
I don't think it does a good job of it. But the thing is, he says we may have to. So it's not that he's done it yet. Right now, he's erasing the memory of the Metrons from her brain. But it's that we may have to change your perception, which gives them free reign to any point from now until later to change and retcon. And I could be massively misreading that scene.
I didn't pick up on that at all.
I got it.
But I mean, I wouldn't put it past that to retcon that. But
the fact that there's some confusion leaves them some writing room for trying to figure out how to kind of
for me, if that's your goal, it's cheapening it for me.
It's so funny because when I thought you guys wanted to talk about the end of the episode and like what was wrong, I thought you were going to talk about how convenient it was that there was suddenly like a fuel jetpack and like some fire resistant material.
The episode is full of that nonsense.
That's bread and butter. I mean, it's like, here's my magic blanket reveal.
At the point they're like, hey, you know what'll stop a wormhole from closing? A starship.
My ass.
Like, sure. Why not just jam a starship in there? That's how that all works.
Let's
I don't know any better.
Let's ignore gravity completely.
Oh boy. Well, did we talk about the Metrons and things enough? Like, do you guys want to get into anything else about that? I mean, obviously
they look pretty.
We have to kind of go, this is what they did.
It's a continuing symptom of an ongoing disease that they're inflicting upon themselves, where just because you're a prequel doesn't mean you have to act like one all the time. And it has been rife with that this season.
Yeah, I mean, the member berries, they really love the member berries, but is the episode better without it? Is the episode better if La'an shoots the Gorn and then they just have to deal with that and there is no terrarium experiment going on?
Honestly, yeah. I think it is for me.
No, if we're changing shit, we're changing that nobody shoots the Gorn. And then the Gorn...
but
hold on.
The fact that it made you feel something is good.
Shut your fucking mouth and let me run for a second, because that Gorn needed to go back onto the ship and have medical attention. And yes, I realize that this is a callback in a way to the episode where she's like, shoot first, ask questions later when it comes to the Gorn. Like, I understand that it's La'an. I understand all that stuff. But no. This episode, it needs, if we're going to fix something, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to fix it. And then she's going to go, she can't go back home. They're going to kill her. But you know what? They're going to find a way to reach out and tell her children that she's alive. And then the children are going to join Starfleet. And then we have a Gorn running 10 forward.
I was about to say Gorn bartender. Perfect.
So
if there is a 10 forward and it's not really there, I know that now.
This speaks to a built-in problem to the series, which is it felt like early on, season 1, the writers were like, the big bad's going to be the Gorn for this series because there hasn't been a lot on them and there's, stuff to mind, there with the Gorn.
Yep.
So we're going to make we're going to do some redemption on the Gorn. We're going to go more into what kind of species they are, how they're thinking, feeling creatures, whatever. They will be Gorn again. as it were. And the problem with that is that the Gorn do exist later, and so you're always trying to undo everything you're doing.
Every time you mention the Gorn, it makes it harder to buy that we don't know
but they're
barely anything about them.
And it's just like that decision made this problem, and it's just the problem just gets bigger as the show goes on.
It really is. It's a problem of their own making, and I dislike the solution. I would love to. I do not enjoy shitting on writers, but I would love to just talk it through and just be like, what is your intent? Because have I completely misread this? Like, did you write yourselves into a corner and now this was like a last swing to get out of it? It's so interesting, and knowing that we only have 1 season and a half left. Obviously, the Gorn aren't going to be the big bad anymore. It's going to make that season and a half feel a bit disjointed as well, unless you bring in a new...
You don't think the Gorn are coming back at all? Think it's done?
I think this is it. This is done. I mean, I have said this before.
They are 100% coming back.
This is done. This has got to be done.
I mean, we keep saying that, but...
on,
you
right
would think
now.
So, but...
No, we still have Batel.
This has got to be done.
Batel is all Gorned.
Yeah, Batel's got Gorn inside her.
Nah, Metron fixed it. It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's out of it. It's gone, baby.
That's
gone.
interesting that that's how you interpreted that. I need to rewatch that last scene again, because the fact that you saw that as like a complete reset button, you know, we can just fix all the Gorn mistakes now because the Metron are going to change it or whatever, is interesting to me, because I did not pick up on that at all. Doesn't mean that's not what was intended. Just means I didn't see that at all. So I really want to rewatch that again.
I believe that I don't.
Oh, the Gorn's coming back. I think you're completely wrong on that.
Yeah, I do too. I think that I don't know if it's this season or next season, but the introduction of that ancient evil that the Gorn could like sense, to me, means that there's going to be some kind of a fight. I mean, we've got Spock that's got like the Gorn tingles. We've got Batel with the Gorn abilities. We have like now shown that the Gorn have emotion and purpose and value in unique ways, and we can communicate with them. Like, that's all leading towards a fight where the Gorn team up with Starfleet and fight this entity, and then the Metrons can step in and be like, we don't like that, and then they wipe everybody. Like, that's, I don't know. I know I'm swinging for the fences.
I believe that more than that this is the end of the story. I believe more that the Gorn come back and the Metrons come back, and at the end of the series, they do that. That this is a hint of that that I just didn't pick up on.
I think the hint is enough. I think the implication that they're going to do it at some point is enough. They won't have to show it again. The fact that Batel is off doing her new job at the JAG office as well, I think it's a non-problem anymore. I think
we'll find out.
That's it.
Because guess what? We're going to watch them all. So
yeah, we are. Let's go into some non-Metron fan servicey. It's not even fan service, it's fan explainy. Anyway, stop it. Let's head into the actual bulk of the episode, and whether we enjoyed it and whether it standed alone on standard. That was a weird thing. Whether it stood alone in good stead on its own standing. I stand relieved. The Enterprise has entered an area of space that's filled with gravity waves, and we just have to investigate this shit. And Ortegas is being sent out on a one-person mission because the shuttle can only carry one person and has to be super duper light. Is very, very quickly fucked off by a wormhole into a planet, a moon orbiting a gas giant. Initial reactions when the episode kicked off and it was clear this was going to be a stranded pilot episode. Aaron, you said you weren't too fond of spending all of this time with Ortegas. What about, despite that, did you enjoy any of the stranded castaway element of the episode?
I thought that's where we were going, but we moved on pretty quickly from it. But it felt like, okay, we're doing The Martian, we're doing Castaway,
Get her back.
It was, it seemed like an inconsequential part of the episode, honestly. Didn't go anywhere. Like there wasn't a lot of, it was like, cool, you know what it takes to survive, and you checked off the checklist. Great job, Ortegas.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't like any like cool potato moment like from The Martians or something. You know what I mean? Like it was.
What about the water condenser?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
She turned it on. She turned it on, Aaron. She flicked a switch, took a nap, and then got water.
Yeah. Is
that not okay?
She stole Jessica Tandy's line from Driving Miss Daisy. She made water.
There we go.
Wait, are you really saying that that shouldn't have happened?
Oh no, it's fine. It's just she didn't.
It's just easy.
Yeah, she didn't science the shit out of it like we're expecting.
So she fucking did. Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, tell me exactly why this part of the episode worked for you, Ambassador.
Wow, I apologize.
No,
that just came out of me.
Get it. Get it.
I thought that I was wondering why Ortegas has been taking apart machines in her quarters for the last few times we've seen her.
Yes, right.
And now we know. We know because the show needed us to have an understanding that she is a clever bean. And so I thought that she was doing some cool stuff. Like, we've talked about this before. Just because she's a pilot doesn't mean that she doesn't know what she's doing in other areas. Like when you're in the starship, it's not like you can't just be one person. You can't just do one thing. You can do lots of things. I mean, Deanna Choi proved that whenever she went in, she wanted to become a stronger leader person.
Commander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the word.
And she proved that she can kill Geordi.
Yes. And because she did all that, she also proved that she can make all these other decisions, and even Deanna Choi. Now, do I think Deanna Choi could survive this episode? Great question. I didn't see her taking apart a motorcycle ever, so I'm not sure. But fair. She did, Ortegas, because of what the show revealed to us, I thought that she should be able to do these really interesting things.
What were the before I go through this, I do want to say that it wasn't just that I didn't find what she did impressive, which I didn't, but whatever. It's more that the episode didn't find it impressive enough to spend more than 3 minutes on it. And it's one of those things. It wasn't the point of the episode at all. So it just becomes superfluous to everything else that's going on. She lists these. This is what I was going to say. She lists these, I think, 3 things she needs to do to survive.
That's right.
Get water, get food, and get shelter. Okay. Mm-hmm. She gets water from the condenser. Cool. She's got water. She then needs the Gorn's help to get. The Gorn gives her the food, and the Gorn gives her the shelter.
Yes.
So it's like of the 3 things, she does one. And by the way, she didn't even really have to do that one because she wouldn't have dehydrated before she got to that Gorn. You know what I mean? It was the same day. So she literally didn't accomplish anything she needed to accomplish. The episode didn't care about it, and so I don't know why I should.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was excited for a little bit. There's just the nerd in me that wanted it to be a full Martian episode.
Yeah.
It gets a pass for me because I really enjoy what it does choose to do. But it does, even the 5 or 6 minutes they spend on her doing survival things now feels wasted because it's so lip servicey. And I have the condenser and that makes water.
I liked it because all of these people need to be able to manage so much life stress and space stress, and here we see what happens when you have to do survival stress. And she's going through all of the things. She's doing her little checklist in her mind. And I also, it wasn't a survival episode in that it's going to spend all the time. And maybe she Scottied it a little bit. I don't know. But I didn't mind that we quickly got to the next bit. I think the show wanted it to seem realistic in that we know she needs to be able to do these things to survive. And then she goes and she accidentals her way into a couple of those. I mean, had she not left the shuttle, and had she had rations in the shuttle, she would have fallen into the little whatever happened to the shuttle. And I don't know.
I can't believe put the rations. The one.
Well, I can't. It was so funny to me. She was like, okay, and I got to find food. And that was before she found that the rations were destroyed. So it was like, you mean you got to go over to the ration container and get the rations out?
I guess the only thing that got burned. There is some convenient stuff in here. There's conveniently inconvenient
things. To be fair, she said she had to do the 3 survival things after the rations burned.
No. Not in my memory. In my memory, she listed those things and then found. In fact, I wrote it down.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. It doesn't mean I wrote something down that wasn't incorrect.
I just want you to know that you're wrong, but it's okay.
But the other thing I wanted to mention about this section is, and this probably colors it a little bit, she had the worst case of the exposition everything out loud to myself that I've ever seen. It was so bad.
There's a big note, describing her situation to keep us entertained. The interesting thing is that usually I mean, this episode just shot itself in the foot for no reason. Usually, Star Trek has a built-in conceit that allows for that. It's called the log. And then the log blows itself up, and she's like, well, I guess that's the end of the log. I'll continue to exposition anyway. Why destroy the plot device that was right there to be used to exposition to us?
Maybe she just has to talk to herself while she's trying to survive.
Yeah,
Listen, it's possible.
That's
it's
fine.
possible.
Yeah, absolutely possible. But it was so funny to me that they destroyed the tool that has been used for exposition since day one, and for no discernible reason, to be honest.
And she does talk to herself in stressful situations regularly.
But yeah, continuing with Ortegas, she eventually, after her exploring of the asteroid a little bit, discovers that the asteroid is actually going to go into the gas giant. And this was a sciencey bit that I really enjoyed. Because she was
Me too.
The gas giant is too big. This is what the orbit's going to be. Shit, I'm going to be inside of it. That math for me. I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too.
She quickly discovers that there is a Gorn on the planet. What were your knee-jerk reactions? Imagining that you hadn't seen the previously on, to know that we were heading into a Gorn episode again.
My reaction was simply, okay, here we are. We've arrived where, we knew we were going. And so let's see. I mean, it was clear to me from the second she was stranded with the Gorn that this was the, humans and Gorn find common ground episode. And so then it was just a matter of, how are you going to do that? How are you going to message that? How is that going to feel? Is it going to work? Am I going to believe it? And for me, it was the best parts of the episode. My reaction was, okay, well, yeah, here we go.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and this is a classic Star Trek thing to do, like we said, is put two enemies together, see them work together and see them work it out and diplomacy their way through it. I really, really enjoyed how quickly Ortegas put that trauma to the side. And you might be able to argue that she did it quite quickly, but she also doesn't have the same baggage that La'an does. She has like the hangover from being stabbed in the chest. But I really like that this episode didn't spend too long with Ortegas being mad at the Gorn and really quickly put the pieces together of, you tried to save me twice now, and how about we work together and you're not so bad, and then they bond over gaming. That really worked for me. Did their journey to bonding work for you, Ambassador?
Yeah, I believe they fell in love,
I buy it. I gotta buy it. I kind of
I do have to say, it was interesting to me that question 2 was gender-based.
I know.
Biological.
I hate what?
Why do that? Why? Because you need the audience to know it's a Lady Gorn. Why? Why does that matter to you, Ortegas?
What I would have loved more is if the answer to that was negative or whatever,
Yeah, third option. Give me another one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep going
that would have been much
options.
better.
Wouldn't that have been fun?
Because what's the other, it's just such an interesting reveal of the show's priorities, right?
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, you're trying to tell us what kind of show this is, how much funner is it if it is a biological male, and then they talk about reproduction, and then they were like, hey, maybe we'll start a family here and we'll populate this planet, and that's more fun.
Yeah, the questions were, you study your prey, disagree. Do you want to understand your enemy? Agree. Do you like it here? Disagree. Are you a male?
It was so weird.
It's out of nowhere, man. It's so there's so many more important things.
Did any part of your shuttle survive the crash?
Yes.
The thruster?
Yeah.
Do you have water?
Exactly. Are you willing to work together?
The fuck is up with those centipedes? Am I right? Agree.
Yeah, right?
I agree. I think that the relationship building between them, well, everything kind of was clipping a little bit fast for me, but also I found myself wondering how much time has passed, because they're on their third game of chess.
We know it's 2 days at least.
Right. But
because they mentioned that on the Enterprise.
3 games of chess and there's nothing else that you could be doing. Are you really out of all of the things that you could do? And I'm
wondering why you're teaching chess.
It's such a terrible place to start.
Hard game it's through disagree and agree. It's so hard to teach that.
Yeah.
Listen, as much as respect as I gain of Ortegas for the problem solving with the orbit and those kind of things, I just lost it all with the way she got to know the Gorn. I was just like, you need some lessons on, you know.
And based on her first line of questioning about finding out if she's male or female, like it could be like, so how do you procreate? Is it aggressive? Agree. It's like what? Like there's so like I want to know what Ortega's true line of questioning is. If we're getting to chess, what other more interesting things could we have asked the Gorn? If it's outside of survival, but I knew what the show was trying to do, so I had to go with it, right? Like I couldn't resist where this one was leading. I couldn't resist that this is an Ortega's heavy episode and that I wasn't quite sure if I was enjoying it. I couldn't resist that I knew the Gorn was going to be killed somehow. I just didn't know how. Was it going to be a self-sacrifice? Was it going to be, you know, that we're on a little cart and we're on a little train track and we're driving down this way and I can't stop it from happening. So I had to go with it at some point. But I will say that despite like maybe checking out throughout a large portion of this episode, that I found myself really intrigued by the creature work in this one because
seemed practical, didn't it? A good chunk of it seemed like a practical Gorn head chomping around.
Yeah, it was very Skeksis for me with like the drapery.
So super Skeksy.
Right. But they were doing really interesting things with probably a combination of like CGI and puppetry and obviously like whoever was in there, you know, manning the Gorn station.
Womaning.
Or womaning. I was really drawn into it. I was drawn into how the creature noises sort of developed. The addition of the translator only being able to say agree, disagree almost became its own personality.
It kind of became a running joke, didn't it? It was kind of the comedic timing on that I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah. So those things drew me back in, and that's a surprise. And CDR in the chat earlier had said something like that this is a good episode because we wanted the creature to survive, and the conversations that were happening in the live chat were kind of all like feeling that same way. And I really believe that that's true. The fact that there's a feeling that we're having towards the end of the episode says that some things are going right. So as much as I found part of it to be like checkout worthy, that performance was really interesting to me.
I think they did a great job of, and please forgive me for this, humanizing the Gorn. Like I got empathy for the character, and obviously giving it an injury helps. Its like stature is like kind of slumped, and it has the blanket over it for a good chunk of the episode. They did little things that really gave it some character, and yeah, I was hurting by the end of the episode when Khan just comes in and caps it. So I think they did a good job with that, especially when they've made this alien very alien and very scary poltergeist. Not poltergeist, that's a terrible comparison, but like it's scary creature that's very hard to kind of relate to, and then they kind of shifted away from that with this one.
What I think is interesting as I reflect on the episode too is, you know, Ortegas's adaptation to the Gorn, you know, how quick it happened or whatever. But we know so little in a way about the Gorn that I'm also confused how quickly the Gorn would be doing what the Gorn is doing. Like, I guess you get the impression, and I think intentionally so, that the Gorn is essentially, let's call her a name. Shall we name her? Gornarita has
Gorgina?
Gorge. She's Gorge.
Gornita Crunch.
Oh Lord. She's kind of like given up in a way, right? Like that's all made kind of more obvious that she's essentially resigned that this is the end, and it's really, really sad. And then she starts to even have empathy and comfort, and then joins this crazy mission to not get burned alive or whatever. And it ends up working, and her death is this horrible ending that she didn't deserve. And I know it's meant to make us feel something, and it does. Like, I'm still upset about that. But I wonder if Star Trek will ever chance revisiting this from an opposite direction and kind of tell us more about the Gorn, because they've done a very Klingon-esque thing here. And suddenly I want to know more about the complexity of this alien species that so far has been just very hunt, kill, knows nothing else. And now we're like, but also does these things, very intellectual, conversational, has empathy, cares. So that has all the makings of of an introduction to a more permanent character on the roster. And
just wait until 2050 when they do another prequel episode that explains this from a different perspective.
But that's what I'm saying is like we just watched something that another show is going to have to go back to and give some more dimension because I can maybe believe Ortegas's experience here, but the Gorn I'm really struggling with a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I wondered if it was like a rejection thing and like maybe like the injury to her leg needed some assistance and so saved Ortegas so that she could get medical assistance. Did you pick up on a motivation at all from the Gorn, Aaron?
No.
Why she was helping? Yeah,
no.
I didn't quite get there either.
That's what I'm saying is they've really done an interesting thing of like making us have feelings towards this character and then are also going to be moving on so quickly. I guess it's just kind of like the kid battery episode. You just kind of can't stop thinking about it at some point because it's going to fuck you up.
You cannot stop thinking about it.
You never go back for that fucking child.
Eventually, Ortegas, we're going to finish up Ortegas' journey on the asteroid before hitting the Enterprise. Ambassador, any final thoughts on the conclusion to Ortegas? Well, I guess, like, Melissa Navia's performance in general, did you connect with it? Did you like, it's the most we've seen Ortegas in an episode, and from what I've kind of briefly scrolled online, people are resonating with her performance.
I mean, I have a question about the fire. I mean, besides how did they not burn up? We're just going to skip over that. So we see the fire like kind of in between the cracks of the shield. And then we see what I assumed was going to be the beaming up stuff. Like we see that it changes color.
Oh yeah. I thought they were being beamed out, but that was them being engulfed in white flame.
Yeah.
Or the Metrons protecting them.
I think it was the Metrons protecting them because at first I thought they were being beamed and I was like, let's go. Let's beam the Gorn back on the ship. And then they can all freak the fuck out and be like, why are we beaming a Gorn? And then someone says, why didn't you know it was a Gorn? Can't you read? And
what if they just left the Gorn behind and only beamed up?
That was another possibility. Like she's with the Gorn. We got to get her out of there, whatever. I didn't know. But the twist for me, obviously, was that they weren't beaming. They were still trying to fucking figure shit out.
Yeah.
And so, I think the Metrons saved them from destruction so that they could see what played out.
That's interesting.
What did you think?
I like that as a read. I
hadn't thought of that, but I like it.
Yeah.
Because it was very clearly a different color. They very clearly put the camera on that crack.
And it definitely went to like a bright white with a blue tinge, which seems to be the aesthetic of this Metron anyway.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that fine as an explanation. I'm a sucker for a transporter beam frozen midway through as well. I thought that was gorgeous, the way the Metrons froze the transporter beam. Overall, Melissa Navia's performance, which is getting a lot of like love and praise online. From what I can read, people think that she's definitely delivered on the Ortegas episode that a lot of people have been asking for.
Not the character that I was expecting to spend time with, but the more that I've sat with the episode and talked about it, her talking out loud, her demeanor, she really does carry a lot in this episode. And I think like what a weight to ask someone to carry. And it's not Pike. It's not
Una.
Spock. It's not right.
And La'an would have been the other obvious option for this episode.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense that they would have her like do something intense and healing and to kind of get her mojo back a bit. So I think this episode does all of those things. And it also gets to show her personality. She's got the wit and the snark and the silly. Do I think that would be the predominant personality element that would come out in a survival situation?
Yes.
I don't know.
It would for me, I think.
I mean, she is exempling how to just chin up and keep going until she loses her mojo at the end and then is brought back to hope with her enemy. But it's I think it's something that the chat said multiple times from multiple different people that I think I agree with. It's like it feels very Star Trek, that like facing your enemy, having to make decisions about when to leave someone behind and whether their life is worth the lives of the others that are waiting for this vaccination that they're going to be providing. Like they're putting a soup together, and of course they're adding the beautiful visuals that go along, with it. But her performance in it carries it through. It's not like, even though I was wanting to disengage, I kept coming back. And so I think that's the sign of a really good performance.
Commodore, does it do anything for you? Careful, you're going to get absolutely roasted.
No, I know. I am going to be careful here. Let me just say, I think that most of the actors on this show are really good. We can just move on from there.
That's fair. I enjoyed spending time with Ortegas. If I have a nitpick, it's that it's interesting that we did so much work with La'an having a traumatic past with the Gorn to then in this season shoehorn a traumatic event with Ortegas so that she can have some meaning in this episode, so that we won't think it's weird that this episode isn't La'an coming to terms with a Gorn so that she can shoot it at the end. It felt like we had to do a lot of acrobatics to accept that Ortegas is in this episode without it being a wasted opportunity for La'an. Having said that, I really like Melissa Navia's performance and I like Ortegas as a character. And I think if you don't like Ortegas as a character, this one's going to be a rough ride, just like if there's a TNG character you didn't like and suddenly you're dead, you're with him for a while.
Earlier, I had looked at my notes, which I hadn't looked at for a second, and realized in my stream of consciousness, at the beginning of the show, when she disappeared into the wormhole, my note was, oh, well, we lost Ortegas.
I wonder what this episode is actually going to be about. It's just like
yes, exactly. Like, okay, we come back without Ortegas. Let's see where we go now.
Can you imagine if they actually had done that?
Man, we need to follow up on this pandemic. If they actually did follow up on the pandemic on that planet.
Listen, once you took my Hemmer away, it was over, man. Like,
it's been downhill since then for you, that's for sure. Hemmer.
Speaking of Hemmer.
Yeah.
If they do delete the memory of Gorn, like, what does that do for Hemmer?
Oh, that's how we get him back in season 4.
He just returns? They just snap their fingers and dead people come back?
Just
I'm all on board for the Metron now. Yeah, all on board.
Whoever it was, JR walking out of the shower and it was all a dream. Just Bruce Horrick walks out of the shower and he's back as Hemmer. Well, with that, let's head back to the Enterprise. They spend most of their time troubleshooting how to get Ortegas back and whether they should get Ortegas back with a classic pandemic, we have the only vaccine in range cliche ticking clock, which is like there are so many ticking clock cliches, they're not even afraid about repeating word for word ones that have been used multiple times. There's often a plague or vaccine that's needed, and that's why the Enterprise, not a medical ship, by the way, has to be the one that's delivering it. What I really want to dive into here is Uhura. God damn, Uhura. Commodore, go off.
Listen. This is twice now that this show has flaunted its respect and admiration for the worst parts of humanity. Mm-hmm. And fudging the numbers.
Wow.
And Mbenga just killing a dude. Like
Pike being okay with both.
And both times, Pike goes, totally get it. I know. You know, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It
grinds your gears.
It really, in this one, even more than Mbenga, because for me, that was very much a character point, at least. I don't like that Pike, was cool with it, but for Uhura, I really like that character, and I really like who she's been, and she's in. Listen, humans do terrible things. Like, no one is above making a terrible human mistake. My problem is the show seems to elevate it and go, yeah, right call, honestly. You know?
It justifies it afterwards.
And I just, be human, do a terrible thing, and then have there be consequences for it, or have there be, some sort of opposition to it that lingers. That you don't just get to resolve and sweep under the carpet.
Yeah. And even TNG.
Yeah, it's bad. It really rubs me the wrong way with this show. It's twice now, and yeah.
Even TNG, who is famous for being episodic and not continuing things. There's an episode where Worf crosses a line, and Picard says, "If you do this, you probably won't ever be captain. Like they'll reject you from taking the command path." And he's like, "I'll accept it. That's fine." And then they pick that back up again in Deep Space Nine, where like Sisko's just like, no, I'm rejecting you because of the reason that Picard says. Like that was a consequence that lived with that character. And I don't know what the goal of this is other than Uhura likes Ortegas and is willing to kill the entire crew to maybe rescue her? Ambassador, give me your thoughts.
They are brief. My thoughts on this are brief. I do think that it's interesting that like Ortegas did something similar and she was like really hand slapped for it. So the fact that there wasn't really any consequence for her doing what she did is a bit surprising to me. Although I think they are different situations.
Also, I just love that on the little thing you can just go, manual override. I'll just change the number.
The fact that like, do you not like these results? You can change them.
And the computer repeats the wrong number. Like,
yeah. I swear the thing may as well.
Who designed that?
The thing may as well have said fudging numbers in process. Like, why would that be a slider that you please make these results more favorable? Wild.
My thought though is, and I continue to like maybe stretch a bit. There is such a vibe of TOS of like the wildness and the rule breaking,
the space cowboyness of it all.
And this is before that. So I kind of like look at these moments and go, is this just sort of how it was? Early on, are they kind of giving the idea that there was a lot more freedom to just like do these kinds of things before? Obviously, TNG was buttoned up more, in my opinion. But I was always told like TOS is Kirk will do things that are really not okay. And so my understanding is that that's kind of like a way to wink and nod that they're not buttoned up. They're making mistakes and they're covering them up, or they're, so I don't know. That's kind of my...
I kind of like that, but it's still, because Voyager did it as well. Janeway reference, man, I would love to have been around just for a little bit during the cowboy era with Kirk and Bones and lists all of these people.
Right, and be able to kill people and get away with it.
Yeah, but it's
which
like,
she kind of does, right?
She does, all the time. There's cowboy era, and then there's being faced with this specific example that's really, really hard. It's really hard to swallow. And again, there's some like internal episode setup where there is a lot of love between Uhura and Ortegas, specifically in this episode, where there's a lot of checking in and a lot of emotion that is there now. That feels a bit inorganic for me because it's there so that we will buy Uhura being willing to kill the entire crew and a planet of people in order to continue looking for Ortegas. So it doesn't come up as very organic for me.
Yeah. No, I get it. She's also been pretty, like by the book up until now.
Yeah, and while I like the evolution of her going from cadet to outspoken and more confident, I'm not sure the show's doing the narrative legwork to get us there, but there we go. I mean, yeah, the Enterprise sticks its bum in a wormhole and it works, and we just ignore physics, and it's absolutely fine because Pike's at the helm, which looks really cool.
That's what she said. It was a long one. Like I needed to interject it.
No, that's what she said.
Okay.
There we go. And that's all I have to say about that. It's very, very broken and it works. Was there anything else on the Enterprise that you wanted to talk about? Any scenes that stood out? Anything that grabbed your goat?
I didn't like much of the Enterprise in section, and some of that has to do with the Uhura decision. Some of it has to do with the fact that just so much of our cast is missing. We're really with just a few people. We don't have Scotty or Chapel or Hemmer or some others. But
Bones. Kirk. Really weird that Kirk didn't show up in this episode.
Kirk wasn't there this week, so
bizarre.
already a failure of an episode. But I think one of the things that I laughed at was that Uhura has the idea to follow her through the wormhole. And my thought is, how is that not the first thing on everybody's mind?
Can we do that? Can the Enterprise do that?
Yeah, like the first discussion is, okay, how do we go through the wormhole to go after her? But they needed to give Uhura
to one up that,
the seed of it.
To one up that, it's the probes. It's late into the episode where they're just like, we need to send probes.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Why wasn't that job number? Why wasn't it immediately probes?
Exactly.
Before you send a shuttle, why didn't you send
probe it?
Fine.
Yeah. So much probing.
They waited to have all the obvious ideas until the plot was ready for them.
And they didn't even give a good reason. It was just Pike was like, great idea.
You'll be so proud of me. My notes in this section was blah, 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 send probes to strengthen the connection, and all caps, why didn't you do this already?
It's crazy.
Oh, look at me, Star
Trek.
You
go. I just have a few little notes. Sorry, Ambassador, was there anything you had about the Enterprise portion of the episode that you wanted to discuss?
I think I probably noticed this before, but I'll just mention it now. Their walking through the hallways is so very bright. It's just such a difference between the dark, like command station, captain, bridge area. That's the word. Yep. And it's like, like really dark and red. And then when they walk in the hallways, it's like dilated pupils and just so bright. It's so bright. And also, I haven't mentioned this and I've been meaning to for many, many episodes. Is this like super J.J. Abrams for you guys this season? Like there's just these blinking lights and there's so much more lens flare than I noticed in season 1.
That's been consistent in the Kurtzman era. I
didn't notice it as much.
Yeah, with Discovery and with Strange New Worlds, there is a lot of it.
But it's so bright, and I'm just thinking to myself, is this safe? That's just
the Enterprise in general. No,
the hallways are so fucking bright. You know what? I realized that the very muted tones of my beautiful beloved TNG.
Yeah, the beige and the purples.
Yes, just like the nice soft tones.
The wood.
Yes, like I miss that.
Yeah,
I love that your response to a lot of light is, you know what? Make it darker so that it's safer.
Yeah,
make it so you can't see as well. That'll be much safer. It can't be safe with all that light. You're seeing everything. How is that safe?
It's not okay.
That's always
way
killed
too
me.
bright.
It's always killed me when it's in the middle of a battle and it's dim the lights. And I know it's to preserve the night vision so that when the lights are killed, you're fine. But I'm just like, red alert. Oh, fuck, it's pitch black. I can't see shit. It's lens glaring everywhere.
I will just say there was a moment when I believe like Spock and Uhura are in the science-y space doing their science-y experimentation. I think it's actually at the very beginning as Uhura is walking Ortegas to the shuttle and they step out of like their debriefing space and then they go into the hallway and I was like, I'm in my house, like shielding my eyes from how bright that fucking hallway is. I'm like, God, can we just like dim some? It's all white. It's just white and bright. I'm the kind of person that I like to have like mood lighting around the house. So I don't like the overhead bright lights. I don't like that. Like, let's put on some little lamps in the corner and let's just like chill. So
my mood is hospital hallway. That's my mood.
That's what it looks like.
I like to be able to see what I'm typing without straining my eyeballs.
Trust your brain. Your fingers know where the keys are.
Mine don't. That's what she said. I have a few more thoughts. What the fuck is Division 12? Ortegas mentions it.
Right after Division 11.
Yeah, there we go. Ortegas mentions it. This is the kind of spooky stuff that Division 12 talks about. We have Section 31 that she probably doesn't know about, to be fair. But what's Division 12? I want to know. Is this another spin-off?
The X-Files, man.
What? Call it the X-Files then.
Didn't you love the X-Files?
I do. I love the heck out of the
I mean, that's an understatement. Literally, my wife made an X-File logo bedspread for our bed. So
yeah.
For our guest room,
sure
actually.
Did. Yeah, I remember
we had an X-Files themed guest room in our first home.
That's incredible. We need to do an X-Files podcast.
Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Is that it? Yeah.
We also have a little reference to Decker, the captain of the Constellation, who will appear later in the Doomsday Machine, a TOS episode, as Commodore Decker. Where he does some fucked up things. And then this was halfway through the episode. This is feeling very much like the arena for me. And I had no idea how right I was going to be.
Yay, good job.
There we go. Any final thoughts, Commodore and Ambassador?
I think the moment of the episode, it teeters on the edge of cheesy and working, and I think for me lands on working, is the key moment where Ortega says it's hopeless and you hear the machine say disagree. Well, actually you see the Gorn hand first.
Yes.
The hand first, and that hand doing great acting in that scene.
Yes.
And then the disagree. And it just worked for me. That moment just worked for me. And it captures what worked for me about this episode. Yeah. So I did want to end on a good note.
Completely agree. Ambassador.
As my final thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. Why are we shooting to kill?
Just ask questions later. It's
but that's not how it usually goes.
Because it's the standard Pike has said on the ship.
Yeah, it really
Murder's fine. Just murder all the people.
But that was whenever they were being invaded by like the Death Eater ship that ended up being humans, by the way. I would have thought that they would have had a little debrief, like, hey, I know I said we were going to shoot to kill, but that was yesterday. We've learned some lessons. Why are we not stunning?
It is wild, and I don't know if we're going to get any repercussions about La'an doing it, but it is brutal. Those shots are brutal.
I'd like to go back and kind of look at that episode, that particular part, because I seem to, in my brief quickness of the horror of what was happening in front of me from my beloved Gornia, it looked like there was multiple colors fired at her, as if La'an had just instinctively set her phaser weapon to kill, and everyone else was doing stun. Like, it looked like there was different colors being shot.
Interesting.
So I'm really, really wondering if I'm right about that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It bothers me because the standard for Starfleet is stun first.
You would think so. And I'm
so when we're talking about like them bending the rules and doing things they shouldn't be doing, that certainly should be on the list. And so maybe, like, I don't know. I know the next episode's not going to start with everybody being court-martialed, but it seems like maybe they should all.
Feels like it should.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I guess that's a good, just final real quick question. Commodore, were you shocked by La'an murdering them, or just, that's what this show is going to do?
Well, I mean, shocked, not shocked. Shocked because it doesn't seem like the quote unquote right call, but it's definitely the call the show's been setting up for. Like, I mean, that is La'an. I mean, that is the character that they have painted in the situation we're in. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not like it doesn't make sense. She saw Gorn coming over top of one of her crew members. The part that doesn't make sense is what Deneé said, is like, why are we set to kill right now? Like, why aren't we, set to subdue in some way?
Yeah. I just also remembered this, like, we didn't really talk about, there was this moment when La'an was talking to Ortegas when they landed, and Ortegas couldn't see them at all. That was really, really interesting. I thought that the show was going to be going in the direction that the observers had been Starfleet trying to beam in the whole time. And they were watching, and so we were seeing sort of these frozen moments of beaming flare, because when the beam was sort of paused, it looked a bit like the kind of shape of what we learn is Megatron. And so, like, I was like, oh, this is really interesting, but then when it pauses, we see what eventually happens. There was like that really brief moment there where Ortegas is not seeing her friends, and she's genuinely reacting to the death of Gornia.
Yeah, I kind of love that.
That was so powerful. Like, that was just, I
don't understand. Like, what's the point of all of this? Like,
why
would you put me through
this
to then allow this to happen? Like, why let me bond? Like, you're clearly powerful. Why have you let this happen? So, completely agree. Love that moment. Super duper powerful.
It was really, really powerful. And it was a bit confusing, and it was an interesting reveal, and it drew me back in. And I think that really pushed her performance over the edge for me, for Gornia specifically. Yeah.
It reminded me of Darmok, and I know you hate Darmok, but it's when Picard has made their friends, their best buds, and the monster is beating the shit out of his friend, and Picard's getting beamed up, and he's like, no, don't beam me up, put me back down, like, send me back. It reminded me of that. Like, that's so heartbreaking. Commodore Pips.
Yes, Pips.
Yes.
I remember Pips.
Out of 4.
2.5.
Oh, he loved it. Ambassador.
3.5? No, 3. What I did last episode, I gave 3, right?
I think so. 3 or 4? 3.5?
I think
you were pretty high on it.
That was my 4 Vulcans. Did I like it more than the 4 Vulcans? I'm still really conflicted about this episode.
Hard.
I think I'm going to go 3. And then I'm going to amend that last episode was 3.5, because it can't be on the same playing field. And I'm not going to go down in the. I'm not going to go down in the 2s.
Somebody tell Slab.
And it sucks because I know that, like, having spent a week with people in last episode, knowing how hated it was and how much I enjoyed it.
No.
It's difficult. Yes, I had a great time. I really loved it. I really had a good time.
I kind of liked it. I liked it better than this one.
Yeah, I think I do too.
I had more fun with it. It was more entertaining to me.
But the reason I really feel is because, again, like I think it's punching more holes into the stuff than it needs to.
Aaron also loved the Toxic Avenger, so just take from that what you will.
What was it? Who did you say reminded you? Dormok? What was the
Darmok?
Is that the one that Doctor Strange says I've come to bargain?
There is an emergency communication. I know you have to be beamed out by somebody. So we're going to say bye to the Commodore there. Thank you for joining us, I think.
Are you beaming him out because you're mad or because he has to go?
No, he actually has to go.
Oh,
I have to go.
Yeah.
I was going to say, man, I'll fight you. I'll fight to keep Dice
I wouldn't kick him off. He's choosing to abandon ship. Ambassador, I'll see you in the Jefferies Tubes for some emails. Okay, hailing frequencies open, everyone. It's time for us to read your messages from Discord, Twitch, YouTube, and, well, email.
I want to address this comment from Wandering because I think it's interesting. Wandering says, but as this has been so established, I really think Ortega should have been shouting, don't shoot, and anticipating that they were going to shoot.
Such a good point.
But I don't think that she knew that Starfleet was there.
Yeah, I think she was disoriented.
Because of how she reacts and isn't talking to anybody that's beamed down, all Ortega sees is her buddy go down. So I think that the Megatron was actually like keeping her from seeing her people.
Man, that would be fucked up.
So I don't think Ortegas knew to say don't shoot, don't shoot. I think she was just coming out of the shell after the fire stopped.
That's so interesting.
And didn't see Starfleet at all. That was my interpretation.
Yeah. Wow. That would be... No, but she knows that La'an did it.
I mean, now she knows La'an did it because after the Megatron froze her, she could... And then she was eventually able to see. Because Megatron reveals themselves, and then she's able to see the beam stuff and can see her friends, if I remember correctly. So I think like initially she did not know that those were her people. Like she couldn't see them. That was my interpretation. I don't know if I'm right, but
I like that interpretation. I think that adds a layer to it. Oh man, I really love her.
She did open it as a beam down, but I don't think that I thought that was just a coincidence. I'm not sure.
I do love her. That's the best acting I've seen Melissa Navia do, is that earnest, fuck, why did you do this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like that, when an injustice is done, and it's like, how can this happen?
Sci-Fi Brony is now saying, I think it was a timing not seeing, because as she's screaming at the Metrons, she says to La'an, I'm not talking to you.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And Wandering says, I thought I'm not talking to you was a you killed my friend, so we're not on the talking basis. That's what I think too. I thought that she was saying like, I'm not talking to you right now, you fucking weirdo that's just caused all of this.
Yeah, I can't handle you right now.
And she would have absolutely, like if she would have seen and heard the transporter sound, like I think she would have known, but I really don't. I thought she was pulled out of time, like she was in this terrarium situation.
As with all interesting episodes of Star Trek, this one inspired some emails. Here's one from James, aka Flyboy, and I love this when we have somebody in the community with very specific knowledge that gets to weigh in. A couple of quick non-spoiler notes about the episode. This episode gave me vibes of TOS, Galileo 7, and Arena. Makes sense. And the movie Enemy Mine with Louis Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid, as well as a TNG and Enterprise episode. Good amalgamation. I'm sure you know I'm as much of an airplane nerd as Ian is a starship nerd. So I geeked out seeing Erica has models of two World War I RAF planes, Lancaster Bomber and a Spitfire, and an SR-71. I could believe Melissa Navia is a pilot in real life. I don't know that, but I could absolutely believe it. Yeah, and the way like she really inhabits the body of a pilot really well, even when she's like at the joy. I like that they gave her a joystick on the shuttle as well, and the way she's moving around the controls. There's lots of nice little nods there that really sell her character.
The show loves piloting. I mean, even there was multiple characters that were jealous to not go.
Yeah.
And Pike was jealous to not be piloting the shuttle and then got to pilot the ship. So there's a passion for flight for sure.
Yeah. Message from Josh. I love everything about the way this message is put together. Holy shit balls, Ian. Have you watched Terrarium yet? Perhaps not. So I'll put a spoiler warning when it becomes relevant. Appreciate that, Josh. By the way, I absolutely nailed this episode in my predictions just from the title. My wife has never rolled her eyes so hard at me being correct. I have experienced this eye roll from Deneé That's like, you watch too much Star Trek. You need to stop. Josh continues, spoileriness. The only thing I got wrong was I thought this is when we would lose Ortegas one way or another. The flashing light in the distance, I was like, oh, that's the Metrons. Of course, I pronounced it Metrons just to make fun of Shatner. I was even saying this Gorn is a female before it was announced. I was even saying they can hold the wormhole open by wedging the ship in there, even though that doesn't make any physical sense. I believe you, Josh. I absolutely believe you. The Gorn wants to die. It's some kind of outcast. Nailing it, buddy. Absolutely nailing it. I was quite outraged by La'an just shooting it on sight. That was 19 kinds of wrong, but even I predicted that would happen too. They really stitched up a lot of retcon errors here. Great episode. And I think, Josh falls on the side of liking the retcons. And I'm really interested to see who else out in the community likes the retcon tying it up in a bow situation, considering how much I did not like it.
This comment comes from the chat from Stival on YouTube. And to top it off, they say, it was an homage to the original TOS Gorn episode. I loved the reference to Kirk's makeshift cannon. They changed it from a weapon to a beacon of hope.
That's so true. That's a really good point. Yeah. Because she fires off a cannon, but this is a distress signal rather than a thing that kills the Gorn. Love that. If that's deliberate, and I hope it is, that's really cool. Yeah, I like that. Just a quick message from Sarufi. Melissa Navia was incredible. She spent most of the episode being the only one talking, and yet it never got boring. 5 pips for her performance, and I completely agree with that.
From the chat on Twitch, from CMDR Smith, I slightly wanted it to be the Vendorians rather than the Metrons.
Oh, I wish I could remember who the Vendorians were.
Oh, you don't know who they are? I totally know.
I can hear you typing.
They're a tentacled non-human species capable of shapeshifting, native to the planet Vendor. Did you...
What series do they come up in?
Oh, you don't know that?
It must be TOS.
They are in they are an animated.
Oh, TAS.
They are
the one
animated.
I've seen the least. That's fair. It's the one I've seen the least. Yeah, totally.
The planet was located in the Beta Quadrant, and due to the duplicitous nature of this shapeshifting species, as of the latter half of the 23rd century, the Vendorian homeworld was under quarantine, and few people had ever encountered them. Per the terms of the treaty between the Federation and the Romulan Empire, any use of Vendorian spies was considered a violation of the treaty and hence an act of war.
This episode, this segment brought to you by Memory Alpha. There we go.
I was just gonna say,
Amazing.
Guess what website I'm on?
Looks like they popped up in Lower Decks as well, according to the live chat. Lower Decks doing
I'm going
to
skip down a little bit. In 2381, Boimler and Steve Levy were subject to a morality test on Chiron 4 by the Vendorians, and they initially failed, but Levy's conspiracy theories on them impressed them, and Boimler calmed down enough to at least accept him. Oh, it led to him getting a pass.
Yeah.
I don't remember that episode.
I mean, you recited it extremely well, as if somebody... It was a season 4 episode. Season 4. Yeah, that happened in season 4, I think. It was literally called Caves, I believe.
Are you reading the chat?
Nope.
You are!
We have an email from Sci-Fi Brony. 3.5 out of 4 pips. Great episode. This is exactly what I love in my Star Trek. Good stories about connection, understanding your enemy communications. Yes! But everything about the Metrons pisses me off, so half a pip off. Interesting. Yeah, me too, buddy.
Yeah, this one's from Wandering, from Twitch, who said, I thought the flashing lights were going to be Gorn communication since we have established that's how they communicate.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I also wondered that, although I didn't remember that we'd established that they communicate that way. I kept thinking, well, who is observing them and what is the point of that?
Yeah.
We know now.
And now we know.
It would have been very interesting if the Gorn were doing some sort of experiment with, like, how can we gain the humans' trust to then take them over?
Right.
And then at the very end,
this will work.
She's betrayed by Gornia.
We must sympathy them. We must sympathy them into submission.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably work, to be honest. This is completely unrelated to the episode, but I got a message from Scott Wav Lama and Paulie for possible enemies of the Derpa Prize. So it would be a Klingon Derpo Prey and a Romulan War Derp.
God.
Romulan War Derp.
Derpo Prey.
A Derpo Prey and a Romulan War Derp.
I feel like we need to create a series of Derpa Prize where we actually derp an existing ship. Okay, so we take a ship and we do our own clay version and then attempt to make it into a 3D print. So we derp each version.
It's a Borg derp, and it's not it's a cube, but all of the measurements, it's a rectangle.
Have you ever did you ever like make a cube out of clay with your hands?
Yeah.
And how it always had the indentation? It would be that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I imagine the Borg, it looks like a Borg cube, but there's a ton of wires hanging out of it. They will need to be tucked in. Cable management just all over the place. That would be the thing that takes them down. The Borg trip over their own cables.
This one's from Intimov. It says, Ortegas is going to have so much PTSD. And I did want to mention this because I agree. I think that this both solves a little bit of her existing PTSD and makes it even worse.
100%.
She does have to wrestle at the end with like, this Gorn was my friend and La'an is my friend. And I'm just thinking like, she's just out of survival mode. Yeah. And so I feel like Gornia is going to fade in memory because La'an is her shipmate and will quickly come back to the friend status.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Especially with one episode left of the season.
Gornia isn't a friend. She's a survival buddy. And there's a difference between that. But the PTSD comes from survival and watching this horrible thing happen. So if the show is trying to say, and I'm so glad that you wrote this comment, because if they're trying to say that Ortegas is essentially healed from her Gorn wounds, emotional Gorn wounds, this just made a whole bunch of new problems for her. It
really did. Yeah, I don't know. It really did. And I hope they kind of dip into them a little bit. I enjoyed a Ferengi Marauder derp, and I think we should also have the Romulan D-Derpadex.
Okay, let's do it.
Instead of the D-Deradex, D-Derpadex.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people got it, not me, but people did.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody out there would have got it for sure.
Here's another question from the chat. Who are stronger than the Qs or the Metrons?
Nobody. That's it. You'd think the Borg, the way the Q is apparently afraid of the Borg, but I think that's it. Moopsie. Yeah, it's a good one. Moopsie.
Moopsie versus the centipede thingy. We don't know that they have bones, but it seems that they do, and it would be Moopsie. And how much better would this episode be if suddenly another wormhole opened up, a Moopsie drops down, and now they have that to contend with. Also, how did they not, I just thought of this, how did they not think about tunneling underneath to survive? I mean, maybe the gas would knock them out no matter what. But
do you know how long it takes to dig a tunnel?
They have tunnels all around from the centipedes.
Yeah, but they're not Gorn-sized or Melissa Navia-sized.
They sure seem to be.
And also, I'm not crawling into them. I'm going to get eaten by the millipedes.
You would rather, like, your survival wouldn't kick in and you wouldn't just, like, give it a try?
It would, in D&D, that would be roll a survival check. And if you rolled a nat 1, it would be crawl in there. It's perfectly safe.
Okay.
And then the 20 would be do not crawl in there. It's perfectly unsafe.
Yeah, we would be upset with that anyway.
Better to die by fire than be eaten alive slowly. Next week is the last episode of season 3. This is it. It's the end.
Oh, shit.
The end of season 3. This is it.
Wow. And we even have a shorter season next season.
Full season 4. And then shorter season is 5.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So yeah, interested to see how this plays out. We will do predictions and such for next week. But next week's episode is called New Civilizations. So maybe we'll finally see a strange new world. Hey, come and get in touch with us. Send us an email, ian@iananddeneé.com. Join the live show, which can be found in the description on YouTube Live and on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Deneé Says, and then youtube.tv/@ Ian and Deneé. Subscribe so you get all the notifications and whatnot. And you can join the Ian and Deneé Patreon by going to Patreon and searching for Ian and Deneé. And that way you get early access to the episode. You get an ad-free version of the episode with no capitalism guaranteed. And you get to support us. And maybe we can do some fun things. We've got lots of stuff planned.
And you can support for free. By support, we mean you can literally just support by being on the Patreon platform.
Just being present. And join our lovely Discord. That link is a bit longer, so it's in the description. It is popping off in the Captain's Pod Discord, the Ian and Deneé Discord. There is all kinds of chaos. No sports are allowed. I just made that rule today. Until next week, I'm Captain Ian, and I'm going to get you so much data, it'll be coming out of your ears. That's a saying, by the way.
And it's light this candle for me.
Live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Captain's Pod. If you'd like to get in touch with the podcast, you can send us an email to ian@iananddeneé.com. And if you want to support the show and get the episodes early, you can go to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/iananddeneé. If you want to catch the show live, we have those links down in the description for YouTube and Twitch. And then I think I'm supposed to close this hailing frequency, so bloop bloop, we're out. Can I tell you about my brain fart?
Yep.
So today...
I heard it.
What? I thought it was a SBD situation.
SPD?
SBD.
SBD, silent but deadly.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was silent but fucking gross.
Can you imagine what like a brain fart would
I
actually
don't want to.
Okay, I'm going to try.
Ears are flapping.
No, here we go. Here.
Yeah. Oh, nobody wants that.
If you're having a dry brain fart, then you're probably brain dead.
Oh, wow. You're probably dead. Yeah, you die immediately.
Yeah.
Just... That's what a dry brain fart sounds like.
I'm about to teach Iris how to tie some shoes. And I sat down and I just picked up and I thought, well, I'll just walk through this process and prepare myself to teach her because I've never taught anyone to tie their shoes before. So I'm going to get into teacher mode. And then I couldn't remember how to tie a pair of shoes. I literally sat there and just kept doing the same motion. I sat there doing the motion and it wasn't working.
Just hoping muscle memory would kick in.
So then I started to like close my eyes and just, and I thought about when is the last time I tied a pair of shoes? Many of the shoes I'm wearing these days don't have ties. So when is it?
Yeah.
And I remembered and I'm like, I tied my shoe every single day that I was in England with you because I had tie shoes.
Oh, you had your boots.
Yeah. So it's not that I haven't done it in super long. It's just all of a sudden my brain was not tying the shoe.
Mm-hmm. You also were not wearing the shoe. And I think that matters. I think there is a routine of putting your foot in and then the next movement, you were just holding a shoe in midair on your knee. And I think that feels weird.
Yes. But so, okay, I called you over because I was starting to get worried about my brain.
Yeah.
And as I was talking to you, my hands did it automatically.
I don't think they did it right though.
What do you mean?
I think you missed a step.
No, because I tied it. You
wouldn't let me show you. Yeah, but you wouldn't let me show you the bit that I think you've missed. I think you've missed a crucial element. Or in America, you tie laces differently than in England, which is fully possible.
Do you believe with your heart that you and I both represent how entire countries tie their shoes?
Yeah, why would I not?
I have watched people tie shoes differently many times. Like some people make two loops and then they tie the loops together.
Oh, yeah. No, there are different ways to get to the end goal.
Right.
There is an entire step that you missed that I do. Like we both end up in the same place.
Right.
But there is an element of the knot you are missing it's the initial crossover that tightens the shoe and then you do the bow.
Yes.
You just went straight to bow.
Yes, I was just practicing bows.
You went, okay, but you don't usually skip the initial crossover of the two laces.
Correct.
Okay, good. Because that's the bit you skipped.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I did skip that, and I do wonder if that's part of why my problem was. Because what do you mean, oh God?
Because you were so convinced. You were like, no, I'm doing this right. I'm doing this right. And I was like, okay, I'm leaving now. I'm going to go take my morning poop. I'm so excited to hear what Aaron thought of this episode. Save it for the show, Aaron.
I didn't say a thing.
Save it for the show.
I did not say a thing.
Save it.
Aaron, save it for the show.
Some appropriate news for the show I did see right before we came on. At auction, $3.61
if you say
million.
The lightsaber, if you say
Darth Vader's lightsaber
I knew you were gonna. I knew it. I knew.
You know him so well.
I knew you were going to troll me with the lightsaber.
Part of me is thankful that you're here, Dicer, because his sass has been aimed at me until now.
Wait.
I am the sass eater.
You're the sass eater.
The sass eater.
Yes.
But the last bit of sass I just gave you, could you please explain why I sassed you?
I may have spilled a lot of water on him.
Like a liter of water was spilled on my lamp.
In fact, it was the entirety of this cup.
all of it.
All
Not
of this.
A single drop was left.
She was the liter yeeter.
How do you spill a liter? Well,
right.
So the cup, I hadn't entirely, I hadn't put it on properly.
Nonsense.
Only thing worse than a liquid container without a lid is a liquid container that you think has a sealed lid and it doesn't.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. False confidence.
You know what I mean by a liter though, right? It's not like, can you visualize that as an American?
No.
That's
Well, the only we have
we have a
2
liter of soda.
Yeah, 2 liters.
2 liters.
Those come in 2 liters.
So you can envision what 1 liter is then.
No.
I mean, it takes a little bit of
No, we have
effort.
to do math.
That's
Americans
so
don't do math.
interesting. That's so funny. Why just soda?
I don't know.
have no idea, but it's a 2.
know.
That's the only thing. Get a 2 liter of soda. That's the only thing measured in liters.
We're actually really excited to jump into the episode today. I think all of us are chomping at the bit for
Champing
at the bit.
Listen, I have been on a horse that chomped on a bit. So
Well, that's different than champing at the bit.
it is.
Exactly.
And so in my imagination, I have a bit in my mouth and I'm just chomping like I'm so ready for this conversation. This is exciting. Like it's like that. Gornarita has
Gorgina?
gorge. She's gorge.
Gornita Crunch.
Oh Lord. She has
God, sorry.
what?
Sorry.
What?
Gonorrhea.
Oh God. No. Oh no.
Steve.
Her name is Gorny. Okay. All right.
Amazing. That's great.
Okay, hold on. I have to tell you really quickly though, in a personal story. I have a 4-poster bed, and the other night I'm like,
sorry, I know where this is going.
I'm like, trust your fingers. They know where the keyboards are. I get up in the dark, and when I walk back to bed, I full on walk face first into the poster bed, like with my face at just like a full, because I trusted my eyes that can see in the dark, and I bonked my noggin pretty hard. So I'm not saying turn the lights off. I'm saying it doesn't need to be Walmart bright.
Disagree. Steve Not Reeves, I'm working on the Star Trek Derper Prize theme song, by the way. It's real.
Oh my God. Can we sing a little bit in it in the background? Can we be like
No, me.
You'll do great.
Oh, don't clip that, Steve. I was just trying to think of an alien species that had sass in the name.
Sasquatch.
It's not.
Oh, I've missed you.
You don't know that Sasquatches weren't an alien species that then went back to their home planet, and that's why we can't find them now that we all have cameras.
There we go.
Same
thing that happened with ghosts and Jesus.